Allow me to extend a warm welcome to all the viewers on the internet and around the world. It is sunrise on YouTube, morning on Facebook, noon on Twitter, midday on Threads, afternoon on Twitch, sunset on Instagram, and evening on Rumble. I am your host, the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme, the Phantom Menace, he who remains, and the master of the deceptive arts. We are broadcasting live directly from the sanctum of solitude and the citadel at the end of time. Good evening, everyone. I'm the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme, the Phantom Menace, he who remains the master of the deceptive arts. And I return to you once more as the robust voice of the vasectomites. And today, I wanted us to talk about the issue of attractiveness, particularly from the female side or the female point of view, or at least what is considered the counterpart's point of view. Tomorrow, we'll look at attractiveness from the knee bender's point of view. And look at what is it exactly that the knee bender is looking for in a counterpart when it comes to attractiveness. But today we're going to look at what is it that makes knee benders attractive to counterparts. I will be the first one to tell you that the list that we're going to look at today is not definitive. There are so many things that make people attractive or unattractive. So while some of the things on the list may very well be true, there are so many other things that could disqualify you as an attractive person. But we're going to have a look at it and then see if there's any validity to anything that they say in today's article and today's edification. And that article is entitled 7 Things Women Find Physically Attractive in Men. Now, being attractive to the other persuasion or the other gender is imperative to humanity. It's more than just a want or a need. I would describe it really as an instinct that cannot be repressed or curtailed or even turned off. You can't shut this down. And believe you me, I have tried. I have really tried to repress the instinct to be intimate with a counterpart. I have tried abstinence, which is the logical first step, to just step away and say you're not going to participate in that. And it failed. All it did was it made me want to be intimate more, which made me want to be attractive more to the opposite part, the opposite persuasion, the counterpart. I have tried temporary monk mode to be in the zone, to just work on getting my muscles, my mental health, my money up. And all that did was create the desire within me to just be more attractive. So the harder I worked out, the more I wanted to be attractive, the more I wanted to be intimate. The more money I made, the more attractive I thought I was, the more I wanted to be intimate. It's really unavoidable. I've tried meditation and all other kinds of useless endeavor. The desire to be attractive, in my opinion, goes hand in hand, functions simultaneously, and is parallel to the desire for procreation, right? To have kids, to pass on your genes. Both sentiments, procreation and attractiveness, in my opinion, are processed through the lens of intimacy, and they are digested through intimacy. What you might describe as being sexy, to be intimately attractive to somebody else. The desire to be intimately attractive to one's counterpart is a psychological necessity for the knee benders. It's imperative. It's so important for a knee bender to feel like the counterpart that they are with likes them, right? It makes them feel like they're not entirely all the way being exploited or being manipulated in order to be exploited. So you're not being used to pay bills, you're not being used to make up for financial shortfalls. You're not being put in a situation where you gotta be paying to raise another man's child, or you gotta be paying 50-50 for bills that, quite frankly, are 100% not your problem. So you do want to, at least knee benders and most men will want to know that the investment that they're going to be making in these counterparts goes beyond just their need for survival. It's also from a place of attraction. Like, she actually wants to be with you, she actually likes you. Of course, there is the result of intimacy in and of itself that you should consider when you consider attractiveness, right? So what the knee bender is thinking is that should whichever counterpart that they are being intimate with fall pregnant, then at the least they want to know that that counterpart likes them or liked something about them beyond just extracting resources and finances. So if she falls pregnant and you are put into child support or something to that effect, and you are now paying towards not just sustaining the child, but obviously you're paying towards sustaining the mother also, you want to know that at some level she did or she does like something about you. You are not just, you know, just a resource, man, just a tool. Effectively, you're not just a tool to extract resources. And of course, you are completely wrong, right? And of course, you are completely wrong. You think that just because she liked you or likes you, that she won't ruin your life any more than what you have ruined your life by getting involved with her. And of course, she will. She's absolutely going to destroy your life. The child that you are going to have with this counterpart is absolutely going to destroy the counterpart's life and existence as she knows it. This was a person who dated and would have men trying to take her out, trying to take her to places, going into clubs without paying, going to restaurants without paying, going on vacations without paying, going to places that even her father wouldn't pay for her to go, and she's going there for free. So as soon as she gets pregnant, everybody knows she's off the market. And it's not because she's not attractive anymore. It's just nobody wants to pay bills for another man's child, especially if that man is still alive. So, after the child, and the recovery and all that, sure, men might consider, doing that and taking you out again, for the sake of the desire of intimacy. But let's be honest, nobody's going to want to raise another man's child. Men have been saying it forever. You don't want to raise another man's child. This is why counterparts will have 2 or 3 kids by different men. Because she knows, okay, now I'm with this new guy, but his whole issue is, man, I don't want to be paying towards a household where I have to, raise another man's child when I could just pay for my own household and raise my own child. So she'll be like, well, I'll have a child with you, then you can pay towards this household where you can raise your child and another man's child. So, the money, so the kids will just share. The kids will just end up sharing. Effectively, this is what you're hoping for. And that desire that you have to be intimate, it really overrides all logic. It really overrides all logic because you're now being intimate with a single mom, of which there's nothing wrong. But if she gets pregnant, you are going to now be raising two kids for the price of one. And the other child is older and is going to have different needs, and so you now paying for a child that's an infant who has completely different needs to another child who is maybe an adolescent or a teenager. So I mean that's really going to be expensive, right? So you have to understand that the desire to be intimacy overrides completely even logic. And even though you know that when she does get pregnant, you will be in the dark dimension for a minimum of 21 years. That's 21 years for the child raising. And if you are put, rather, let me say, when you are put in child support, you'll be on child support for a minimum of 18 years. This, of course, includes the lawyer fees and all other things. And if you do so decide to enter into legal matrimony, the marriage contract between you, your spouse, and the national government of your country, the assets combining contract that is marriage, and then you also divorce that counterpart, then you get the assets division or the division of assets, which is divorce. You get the alimony, the lawyer fees, of course, and the threat of incarceration and imprisonment. Not only this, you could get, should you not get her pregnant, right? There is also the fear of false accusations, which are rampant. False accusations of physical and intimate assault, whether you can prove it or not, it's still going to ruin your life, along with being sued and imprisoned and all kinds of other things. Knowing that the laws are written against you, knowing that the child support court is going to be against you, knowing that they're going to put you in alimony because this person is incompetent and can't support themselves. Because in truth, the reality is that she went from living to her father's house to living in pure misery until you moved her into your house. So you just pretty much just replaced her father. And knowing that even if you do get it, even if you do get this right, so even if you're not divorced or you're not co-parenting, that kind of thing, whatever that means, co-parenting, even if you're not doing all of that, you're still going to end up paying bills for a person with no power for accomplishment. Remember, she believes she's going to be CEO by 34. She's not. None of them have been CEO. Not one single one of them has been CEO of anything. Not even the rich ones were CEO by 34. So this is the issue, right? So it's a bad game. You know that it's a bad game all the way around. I mean, even if you're successful, you're going to be stuck with this person just nagging you for decades and decades about nonsense. And she's not going to look as good as she did when you met her years ago when she was young, going out in the club, and she was thin because she was starving. Now you're feeding her, she's just going to put on weight, the baby weight, the depression weight, the lazy weight, all kinds of things are just going to start happening. And you know this. And you know this. And still you have the desire to be intimate. And still you have the desire to find that person or to have that person find you attractive. This is why I call intimacy an instinct rather than a desire. A desire is a malleable and flexible thing. And you can desire someone today and desire somebody else, somebody completely different tomorrow. Or you could desire someone today and then simply not desire that person. Inversely, you could simultaneously not desire somebody today and then see them in a completely different light under completely different circumstances another time and then find them desirable. So, desire in its nature is extremely valuable. But the instinct and the inclination for intimacy is always at play. Intimacy, the option for intimacy is always at play. It can be used for any number of things: paying bills, getting favors, getting jobs, getting movie roles, getting into bands. All kinds of things can be exchanged for intimacy. Interviews. We've heard of ridiculous things where somebody will trade an interview with a counterpart in exchange for intimacy rather than money. People have been, are being, and will always be intimate with people that they don't desire or even find conventionally attractive. They'll even do it for money. They'll even do it for money, which is what is troubling for a lot of people. So even if your counterpart does find you attractive, there's still very much a chance that she will be intimate with somebody who she doesn't find attractive. She could go out and get inebriated with alcohol. She could get intoxicated with illicit substances like drugs and act completely out of character. She could just be in a bad mood. She could be spiteful. She could get paid and be offered money in exchange for that. Or she may just be that type of person who's inclined to be unfaithful, right? And inclined towards infidelity anyway. So even if you're attractive to someone, there's no real, like, attractiveness is not security of anything. It is not a guarantee of anything other than that the person that finds you attractive wants to be intimate with you. And while this issue of attractiveness is true for both knee benders and counterparts, I beg your pardon, both simultaneously hold on to the same hope and the same wish that the other party is going to find them attractive, or at the very least is going to find something about them attractive. This is not like financial attractiveness. Yes, that's a part of it, having nice cars, living in a nice place, wearing nice clothes. I mean, like, physically. So you yourself, when they remove everything and you are there in your bare essence, the way you were born, are you attractive to the other person? For most of us, the answer is completely no. For most people, the answer is going to be completely no. But for the knee benders, and especially the counterparts, and we'll discuss the counterparts in more detail tomorrow, for the knee benders, it's absolutely important for them because it means to them that they are not just a tool. And of course, you are. All of us are. In the end, and this is really why you get men like myself who are vasectomites, men like myself who've decided to just stay away from the game, men like myself who want no commitment, no cohabitation, and no commingling of funds with these counterparts. Men like myself are very rare. We are very rare, and we are outside of this norm where where you have these people who need to be found attractive in and of themselves, right? And part of that is just knowing that you're going to get somebody pregnant. The whole desire to be found attractive, yes, it's instinctive. You don't want to be known as ugly as the ancient one. You don't want to, people laughing at my hunchback, or my one leg that's shorter than the other, the limp, and my horrendous facial features. That, I mean, I could go into detail and describe, but I'm sure some of you are eating, and I don't want to ruin your appetite. But for knee benders to be attractive to their counterpart, it is so, so important. That's why when a counterpart has an affair and indicates an attraction for somebody else, it is shattering for the knee bender. It is shattering because not only have you gone out of your way to show yourself the best parts of yourself to this counterpart, you've given your money, you've given your resources, you've given your skills, you've passed on your wisdom, your knowledge, your efficacy, you've given this person everything to demonstrate attractiveness, and then they just find somebody else attractive. This can be quite heartbreaking for these knee benders. For most people, though, you have to understand, um, living in the modern era, and this is the challenge of attractiveness. Living in the modern era and maintaining physical attractiveness and physical fitness is going to be a very serious challenge for many reasons. Chief among them, chief among them is time. You simply won't have the time to do it, right? So part of the reasons why you cannot maintain physical fitness and physical attractiveness is that you don't have the time to do it, right? Between work, commuting to and from work, so you got 10 hours of work, commuting for 2 hours, child raising, nurturing that relationship with that incompetent counterpart, building a business on the side, creating so-called generational wealth, which is what they call a legacy. When they say we want to create a legacy, what they're saying is they want to create wealth that not only can be passed on to the next generation, but can continue to grow from generation to generation, and you are out of your mind. If you think you can create this fictional delusion called generational wealth, you have completely lost your mind. No such thing exists. Yes, there are companies where the father passes down the company to the son, and then the son just strips the company and sells it to shareholders, hires a CEO, and the CEO runs the company. And you might think, well, that's one way of running the company, until you realize that the family actually owns something like 3% of the entire whole of the company. The whole thing has been sold off because the person that ran it, the person that built it and ran it and understood it, retired it and left it to incompetence. And those incompetents simply just hired other people to run it, and then they sold off whatever they could that was of value. And now they own nothing. You go back to the people whose family were the founding fathers of the countries, first generation billionaires, and see where their great great grandchildren are today. They are at best average. You're not getting no so called generational wealth. You're not getting that. Between trying to do all that and then you gotta cook the meals, just think about how much time it takes to cook a meal, right? And then you still have to sit down at the table as a family and eat those meals, right? And then be able to squeeze out an hour on top of all of that to put in a day's worth of exercise, burn 1,000 calories in the gym, and then still go and be intimate with your counterpart. There's no way you're doing any of that. There's absolutely no way you're doing any of that. Not to mention that you have a poor diet. So when you do cook the food, sure, it's fine, but most of your food is taken out. It's takeouts, and it's ordered in rather, not taken out. Because we can order in from home, right? So, I'm sitting at home, I order in. Takeout implies that you go there and you actually take the food yourself. So between having to do all these things, there's just no time, man. and you've got a bad diet and you're married, no way, no way. So part of being able to exercise and then maintain a diet and lose weight and achieve better health and fitness and more attractiveness, at least physical attractiveness, is to be spiteful to these knee benders and these counterparts, right? It's spiteful and it's threatening to them because they can't do it, because they simply just don't have the time, they don't have the diet, they don't have the window. It can take months for you to lose weight. Sometimes it could take years for you to lose weight, depending on how big you are. So you could start losing weight, but for you to get to the weight that you want to be, where you could take your shirt off at the pool and that kind of thing, it could take years. It could take years, you know. And for myself, who's just been running every day for 2, 3, 4 years consistently, how are you going to catch up with that? So you start today in 2026. You can expect to reach your goal of fitness in 2029, to be like at peak fitness, and all the way you're just buying clothes and getting rid of them as you lose weight, right? These knee benders and counterparts are not going to do that. It is threatening to them when they see somebody who's fit and who's healthy, right? Especially if somebody is like of the same age as them. So if you're in your 40s and your 50s, just look at what people in their 40s and 50s look like. There are those that are in decent shape, but for most of them, they're not. Even the ones that are in decent shape, you take a closer look at them, you'll see this fat around the neck, fat around the jaws, fat around the chin, fat around the eyes, stubby fingers, man boobs, a pot belly, all kinds of things, right? And then they see you healthy, physically fit. It's going to be threatening to them. It really is, you know. And if you can maintain steady weight loss over time, just like, just keep losing a few grams, keep weighing yourself, and make sure you're losing a few grams there. Don't eyeball it. Just get on the scale and let the scale tell you. Ultimately, people will notice, as they have with me. Every ever so often, someone will comment on my ongoing and easily maintained weight loss. They'll keep telling me that, oh, you look like you've lost more weight. So there was a time when I had lost a tremendous amount of weight, and they say, hey, you lost weight. And then now they're like, hey, you've lost even more weight than what it was before. And of course, I will oblige them by responding and maintaining the same story that I run 5 kilometers every day, when actually I'm running over 10 kilometers every day. What I never mention is that I'm noticing the weight gain in them. And there are so many people that are currently gaining weight. In fact, other than myself, like in real life, I don't know anyone that's actually losing weight. Like, so there are some people like content creators, entertainers, and so forth, who live in the gym, and they have to be there because they put their face out there, they put their body, their likeness, their image out there, so they have to be perceived in the best possible way. This type of pressure is good for them because it keeps them in the gym, it keeps them working out, and it keeps them away from unhealthy food, right? But for most people, I don't see this. Even the people that I work with, even the people that I manage. There are some people that you manage and then they take a promotion and you don't see them for a while. And then you see them after like a year or a few months and they've gained weight. There are some people like you don't see them for 6 months, and then the next time you see them, they just look so uncomfortable in that weight gain, you know. And it just says that it's just not possible losing weight, or successfully keeping it off and having it kept off. It's just not possible for people to do, as far as I can see. And I know that some people are going to be, troubled by their weight gain, because it's an indication that they keep failing. Like everybody wants to lose weight. Everybody looks at themselves and they remember a time when they were younger and they were thinner, and they still see part of themselves in themselves. But that part is hidden under a tremendous layer of fat, and they're struggling to get that part out. So instead, they just keep gaining weight. It's either you're losing weight or you're gaining weight, but there's no such thing as maintaining the same weight. And I can promise you, get on a scale today and go and get on that same scale tomorrow, and you'll see there's going to be a difference. Either you go up a few grams or you go down a few grams. And most people are just going up and up and up, you know. Some people have been overweight for so many years and for so long that they think it's actually part of their personality and who they are. They really can't see themselves being anything other than overweight. They feel like if they did lose weight, people would look at them in a different way. But the reality is that if they did try, some of them might lose the weight, but they just put it back on. And those who didn't lose weight, they just fail anyway. So as important as attractive is, and part of the reason why people desire to be attractive and be seen as attractive, it's because it's so difficult to attain. Even weight loss is like, the only reason that I can sustain this weight loss is because I'm not in a relationship with a counterpart. I cannot imagine a counterpart would just stand there and just watch me going around and around in circles day after day after day. Eventually, they're going to be like, can't we just go do something else just to break the monotony of me running around in circles? And after I exercise, I'm really not in the mood to go walk around in the mall for 2 hours. So I'm not going to run 10 Ks and then go and walk another 20 Ks, 5, 10, 15, 20 Ks in the mall, looking at absolutely nothing. All right, so that's part of the reason why I can maintain that, is because I don't have a relationship. But for people who are in a relationship, what they desire is to maintain attractiveness, but they're not going to be able to because they are in a relationship. And this is the irony here. So you want to be attractive to your counterpart, but you can't be because you have a counterpart. And for those of us who don't have a counterpart, we can maintain the physical fitness that actually attracts a counterpart. And then the problem is there that if we do get a counterpart, then we won't be able to maintain the physical fitness that attracted her to begin with, and now we're in the same situation that these knee benders are. The winning move is not to play, or you could just freeze your sperm, get a vasectomy, and then not care at all. But you have to understand that maintaining physical attractiveness is very difficult. The older you get, the harder it is to do. It's easier for some people to just buy expensive things and use those as symbols of attractiveness rather than to just get in the gym and kill it. Attractiveness for knee benders is not just a tool for survival like it is for counterparts. It's a confirmation of success. It's a confirmation of achievement and an acknowledgement of victory. To say that you have achieved attractiveness for a counterpart. Because remember, having a woman for a knee bender is the ultimate success. It is the ultimate victory. And being attractive to a counterpart is just an integral part of that success and that victory. Chris George, I don't know if I pronounced that name, Chris George, has an article here where he believes he has 7 things that he knows will make a knee bender attractive to a counterpart. Is entitled his article, Seven Things Women Find Physically Attractive in Men. This is an excerpt of the majority of the article, but it's not the full thing. There is the link from linkedin.com that will take you straight to where we found the article on Chris Josh's profile. This was, of course, published on the 31st of August in 2023. There are some very meaningful details about Mr. Josh on his profile, and I think it's worth having a look at, along with reading some of his works, which we are going to do right now. The article, entitled Seven Things Women Find Physically Attractive in Men. Regardless of what someone else says, a woman finds a man who is confident and knows he is attractive to be physically attractive. You see, now there he goes and he adds confidence to the mix of attraction. So there's like a lot of things that make a person attractive: mystery, confidence, power, and so forth, right? But and this is part of this madness with the knee benders, right? They'll do everything, man. They'll even have a face wash routine. These guys, to try and win confidence. Sorry, to try win attractiveness from the counterparts. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I'm just so grateful to have gotten my vasectomy. I'm really, 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 really grateful, because there are so many things that I'm not inclined to do for the reasons for which you would want to do those things. Man, just trying to get these people's approval is so beneath me. Man, trying to get the approval of a counterpart is so beneath me. I'm not talking like in terms of work. Like, work is work. You humble yourself to the almighty dollar, right? So you got a counterpart that you have to work with. You got to treat that counterpart like a professional, even though you want to treat her like something else. But that work is work. But outside of work, man, I don't feel the need to impress these people at all. Not for a single moment, man. Like, I've been there, I've done that, I got nothing from it, and it was a colossal waste of my time and an insult to my intelligence. But I do understand that, there's a need for this. There's a genuine need for you to be found attractive by a counterpart, other than for the reproductive reasons. But man, you need for these people to like you. You need for these people to like you, because they'll ruin your life in that child support court. And it's like, you don't get her pregnant, then you really got no problem. You really got no problem. But she gets, pregnant, man, I don't even know. Then you really just need her approval on everything. An approval that, if you value that kind of thing, okay. But if you're like me and you don't value these counterparts, not for a single moment, not for a single moment. I mean, what kind of man has a vasectomy with no children? With no children, no cat, no dog, no pot plant, no responsibilities, and you go get a vasectomy with not even the threat of a child? Right? And there's a counterpart there wondering, well, why is the ancient one acting weird? Because I don't care, man. I don't care what your favorite color is, what your parents did for a living, or what your future ambitions are, or what kind of man you want. But some guys do, and that must be so frustrating. It must be so frustrating looking at this loser, and be like, man, somebody wrote a law that gives this person the power to destroy my life over an inconsequential action. The action itself is inconsequential, but the results of that intimacy, man, you're going to ruin your life by being horny. I'm telling you the truth. Just get a vasectomy, man. Get a vasectomy. I guarantee you peace of mind. I guarantee you peace of mind. Let's continue. Make sure you project confidence. Ugh. If you're unsure of yourself, then she'll pick up on that and it will have an effect on her attraction towards you. Who cares? Also, remember that every guy who is a self proclaimed nice guy or good guy is not going to attract women. Nice guys don't finish last, but players do. I don't know what this young man is talking about. I have no idea what this young man is talking about. Players get cheated on, nice guys get cheated on, rich guys get cheated on, ballers get cheated on, basketball players get cheated on, football players get cheated on, billionaires, millionaires, broke men get cheated on. All of you are getting played at the same time, in the same way, in the same game. And this young man is sitting here trying to make a separation between one man and the other. Even vasectomites get played all the time. The problem is that the vasectomites don't live out the consequences that the rest of you are going to live out. So he's trying to separate one knee bender from the other knee bender. There's players and there's nice guys and there's good guys. No, you're all the same guy. You all have the same biological inclination. You all have the same biological instincts, and you are all getting the same biological outcomes. The only way to avoid those biological outcomes is to become a vasectomite, right? Until we have a better way, and I'm open to having a better way. I'm open to having a better way in terms of protection from procreation, along with fertility and that kind of thing. But this whole nice guy, bad boy thing, give me a break, man. You guys are all the same. It's all in your imagination. You think you're all different. You think just because he's wearing a shirt and tie and you're standing there in dreadlocks that the two of you are different or playing a different game. You are the same guy in a different costume. That's it. Number one that's going to make you attractive is your height. I suppose so. If you're like, short like the ancient one, like all the way, and you're hunched back and your one leg is shorter than the other, so you're short on your long leg and then you're hunched over. I don't think that's going to work for you. But I think tallness helps, right? Toenails help. I mean, I don't know. This is what the counterparts say. For most men that get married, height is not the issue at all. Most men that are 99% of men around the world, right, in the history of humanity are going to have children by the time they're 60. So, maybe height helps in terms of attractiveness, but it is not a disqualifier in terms of physical intimacy, at least in my understanding. I know a lot of short men that have a lot of intimacy and have a lot of children. In fact, most short men I know have children. I never met a short guy who couldn't get a woman. To be honest with you, they love getting women, these short guys. They pride themselves on it. I'm a short guy, but I got a girl. Whatever, man. This is what I'm talking about with these knee benders. They'll say, well, there was a guy, he was 100 foot tall, but he wanted a girl, but I'm the short guy that got her, right? Victory. This is how they justify and quantify victory, these guys. I got a woman. It's just, to me, it just goes too far. It's really something that I cannot understand. Okay, so you're tall, and now you get to pay her bills, and now you're on child support and alimony. Okay, let's say you're not tall, you're short. What's the outcome there? You pay her bills, you end up on child support and alimony. Let's say you're an average man, a man of average height. What's the outcome there? Or let me guess. Bills, child support, and alimony? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Let's read it. A man's height is one of those physical attractive qualities that can be hard to come by. Yeah, Sure, I mean, how hard can it be? You either have it or you don't. You're born with it. You're born tall. So, you know, the word hard to come by implies that it's rare, but you can acquire it, right? So if they say, a Lamborghini is hard to come by, it's rare, but you can acquire it. Height is impossible. You cannot come by height. You either have it or you don't. You cannot acquire it, right? You cannot acquire height. You either have it or you don't, right? So, it's a misleading statement. This young man, this young man has a lot to learn. He really has a lot to learn. It can make a woman feel more protected. That's not true. A tall man can also appear stronger and more masculine. That's also not true. When compared to other men, absolutely not true. Additionally, studies have shown that women find taller men to be more successful in their careers and their personal lives. Also not true. This doesn't mean you should date a basketball player, but it does mean your husband can take pride in his height while helping you feel safer at night. Nonsense. Every single utter word is nonsense. Let me explain. Napoleon, leader of armies, conqueror of worlds, barely 5'5". Julius Caesar, leader of men, conqueror of worlds, barely 5'5". Genghis Khan, leader of men, conqueror of worlds, barely 5'5". And Genghis Khan had more women than all of us put together. He was known. And the list goes on and on and on. There are countries, I believe the United States is one of those, where most of the presidents have been over 6 foot. So they've all been a certain height. But this is just one place. The rest of the world is run by short men. The entire world is completely run by short men. Short men with high statures, right? They run the military, they run businesses. One of the richest men in the world right now isn't 6'7". I mean, isn't 5'7", right? The list just goes on. The list of successful rich men goes on and on and on. The rich of successful tall men is very short and in a very tiny, small area of life, and that is the area of sports. And even then, one particular sport. Because if you look at sports like European football and that kind of thing, most of the players there are short. South American football players, most of those players there are short. And it's in these countries where you realize that these men have actually won more World Cups, more trophies, more championships, more athletics, and all kinds of things throughout history than tall men. The benefit of being tall is just being tall. Doesn't make you a better fighter, doesn't make you stronger, doesn't necessarily make you faster or a better athlete. Yes, it benefits you in like one sport, but other than the sports of basketball, which other area has being tall benefited men? I've just named military, politics, entertainment, all short, right? Business, you name it. The entire world is run by men that are quite frankly 5'8" and shorter. So which area of life is it? So you're not richer, you're not stronger, you're not more intelligent, you haven't achieved more. So how exactly, I mean, you don't provide as much, you can't protect as much, and how exactly is it that is your height a benefit and an advantage? Other than maybe when people look at you and say, "Ooh, you're tall." Right? So it's there's a theory there that when put against the light of reality, it collapses on itself. Right? The idea of being 6 foot tall, having six figures, and on and on and on. These are all nice tropes to have. Very, very nice things, platitudes, and so forth. But otherwise, the benefit of height is really null and void. It is really, really, I mean, the only other benefit that you get from height is being able to reach high up. But most of the world is not built to the advantage of height. It's built to the advantage of short people. Clothes, like tall people can't buy clothes. They can't book hotel rooms, the beds are too small, right? And other things. It's like, I get it, you know. Some people find that kind of thing attractive, but not for the reasons that this man has said. Feel safer, be more protective, be more successful in your careers. There's no evidence that indicates that outside of the United States and outside of the NBA, being tall has any benefit whatsoever. So, like, you know, there are places where people are generally tall, so the leaders will also be tall, but that's because the society is tall. But beyond that, the countries where people are generally short, the leaders are generally short, the successful people are generally short. So, I mean, I'm just gonna disqualify number one. I've always disqualified this issue of height. You know, maybe you could say, well, ancient one, you're short and you have a hunchback. Okay, but I also have $250 in my back pocket. You see how that goes? You know, yeah, and that 250 is staying in my back pocket, by the way. You know, I mean, I got a vasectomy, man. You know what I mean? I'm not inclined to take a risk for this person. I'm not inclined to take a risk for anyone under any circumstances. Number two, his face shape. So, yeah, if you have an attractive face, for a lot of people that matters, right? If you are deemed to have what they call a handsome face, not a face that's mine, where you got, you know, eyes wide apart, but you squint, one ear is bigger than the other, the bigger one is rounded off, but the small one is pointy, crooked teeth, gap tooth, you know, all kinds of problems. If you don't have the problems like what I do, the ancient one, and you're handsome, but you'll probably do all right. Like if you're not like fat or anything or having gained weight and you have a decent looking face, you'll probably do all right. You'll probably do all right in terms of attractiveness. When it comes to male attractiveness, there are certain facial features that just seem to be universally appealing. I wonder what those are. For instance, a man with an angular face shape is considered more attractive than someone with a round face. I'm just gonna take that on faith. I can't imagine angular versus round faces. I mean, people's faces are people's faces, right? This makes sense because you typically find that actors and models have angular faces, and even if you don't notice their chiseled jaws, prominent cheekbones, and noses immediately, one glance at their photos will leave you thinking about how handsome they are. It may sound superficial, but we all know that first impressions do matter when it comes to physical attraction. And he puts an exclamation mark without actually making an exclamation. However, a man who has facial hair is perceived to be a man who has facial hair is perceived as far less attractive than one who doesn't. So, guys, keep it clean. I've heard the opposite of this. I've heard women say that a beard is like makeup for men. And so this young man is now saying that no, 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 women like a clean shaven face. I don't know so much about that. Um, I've never heard a single woman say something like that. Man, I'd love nothing more than if my man shaves. You know, never heard anything like that. I've never heard a woman say, "Oh, I don't like a man with a beard." So, you know, for actors and so forth, I can understand why the shape look is necessary, right? Because you know you're playing a role, you want to portray something in a particular way, and of course they could always have like prosthetic beards, prosthetic beards, prosthetic beards. Okay, I got it. So they can have all those costumes and whatnot, and create a image of you. So you may want to come with a clean face, shaven, a blank canvas, in other words, so the makeup artist can have something to work on. But Otherwise, I mean, yeah, handsome is handsome, right? If you're handsome, just as having a beautiful face, just as having a beautiful face to a woman helps. You could put on like, if you don't have like a beautiful face, you could put makeup on it, and all that does is that it now you're just ugly with makeup on. You know what I mean? It's like now you're just ugly with the wig on. I'm not saying that anyone is ugly. I didn't call anyone ugly. I'm just saying if you are ugly as I am. Now imagine putting makeup on the face that I've just described of the ancient one, right? If you're ugly like me in putting on makeup, all you're gonna do is achieve, an ugly face with a lot of makeup. So yeah, being having a good looking face, I think, is gonna help you a lot. Height, perhaps, I don't know so much. I mean, yes, in attractiveness, yes, height absolutely helps. But, make you feel safer, I don't know about all that. So if you're tall and you're handsome, who knows? Who knows? So if you have number three, you definitely have an advantage over me, which is nice hair. So I above over and above having like more patch than beard. So again, we're talking about hair. So I think this is like facial hair, but then also hair on your head. So I think people like hair, right? Healthy hair, good looking hair. So if you got like bold patches on your head, or you're going bald, or you have hair just on the outside but nothing on the top, yeah, that's not a good look, guys. That's not a good look for any demographic of men, no matter what your ethnicity is. You have that bold patch and like a chunk of hair around the bold patch, like it looks weird, man. It looks, you know what it looks like? Your head looks like a donut. So it's like you have hair, and then you have that this circle of emptiness there, and then around is your face and your neck. So now you've got three circles. No, 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 no. I don't know what you can do about hair if you have hair problems. I really don't know what you can do about hair. I just removed it all. I just thought, no way, man. Since I'm going bold, I'm gonna go all the way bold, and when I'm outside, I'll just wear a hat. I'm gonna wear a hat anyway if I'm in the sun, whether I had hair or not, right? I don't need those problems. A nice round sun hat, a gentleman's sun hat, right? But man, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you if you don't have any hair. For some people, shaving it off might do the trick. For other people, it just makes it worse. You might go for hair transplant and still go bald. So I don't know what you can do if you're losing hair, or if you're like me and you have like a patch and not really a beard, so you got more patch than you beard, and you got like two straggly hairs that are very well oiled. You know, these kind of hair is a really big problem for men. Because we don't really have solutions for it. Women, they can wear a wig and do all kinds of things, and they've been given that advantage. But as a man, there's really very little you can do about a patchy beard, or bald spots on your head, other than shave and go all the way clean. But now you're shaving your head every 3 or 4 days or every week. Nice hair, yeah, you're definitely gonna need that. Hair can make or break a guy's attractiveness. Having nice hair is always better than having bad hair. That's true. To have nice hair, you have to keep up with regular routine of caring for it. That's also true. You should use an expensive shampoo and conditioner. I don't know so much about that, as well as any other necessary products to care for your hair. A hairstyle that suits you well would also be helpful in keeping up with your good looks and keeping your attractiveness high. Good hygiene is also very important. I agree. When it comes to how attractive you are physically, just be clean, man, because people want to know that they are going to be with someone who smells and looks good. He makes many very good points here. I don't know so much about that shampoo and conditioner. Now, I do use shampoo myself, but that's for cleanliness. I don't like want any dandruff or any of that kind of stuff. So you want to keep your head clean with shampoo. So yeah, but I don't know so much about these cosmetics beyond cleanliness, right, and maintaining hygiene, which he makes very good points. But I don't know about all too many of these cosmetics. Yes, I do use soap. I do use soap, right? But it's purely for cleanliness, right? It's purely for cleanliness. I'll have a shampoo, a face wash, and a body soap, but not for like, oh, I got my face routine and my this and my that. Really, I just want to wash myself and be clean, right? And then proceed with confidence and then not smell bad. You know, while I mean, when it comes to things like cologne, find a smell that yes, so find a smell that you like, and that is reliable and that will be consistent for your needs. Because ultimately, these colognes, they all do the same thing and function in the same way. Like there are men with many collections of these things, many different types for many different reasons and so forth. That's entirely up to you. But as long as you don't smell bad, you don't want to smell bad. You don't want to smell like dried sweat, right? That nobody likes that. But yeah, you're absolutely gonna need some hair, or you're gonna need a hairstyle that suits you. For some people, they can pull off the bold look. Just shave your hair off. Don't worry about it and maintain it, right? For some people, not so much. So you're really gonna have to find something that works for you and that is flattering for you if you want to be attractive. Number four is going to be your lips, gentlemen. Your lips are going to be very important for these counterparts. Kissing is a very personal thing, but it's also an important factor in a relationship. Ah, man, I don't even know what to tell you. I'm going to struggle with the kissing part of things. You see, this is why I can't be in relationships, man. you know, I don't know where your mouth has been. That's really, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I don't know where your mouth has been. I don't know how you people kiss these people, man. I don't know how you kiss these people when I know what these mouths do. I don't know about all that, man. You just find these people just puckering and kissing and kissing. Now, don't get me wrong, I've done it myself, and I look down on myself in shame just kissing these people, just not knowing where their mouth has been, but you know where their mouth has been. And you know what's been in it and out of it and in it and out of it. And it's like, no. And you think it's just one or two people. It could be, I don't know how many people that have been in and around that mouth. So, yeah, I mean, you want to kiss, go ahead and kiss, man. But I got problems. I got problems when it comes to kissing these counterparts, man. I know what you people do. I know what you people be doing all night long, man. And I'm not inclined to put my lips anywhere near these people's lips for any reason. This is why I can't be in a relationship, man. This is why I can't be in a relationship. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I kiss these counterparts and it doesn't cross my mind for a single moment where those lips have been and what that tongue has been licking. So, yeah, guys, good luck, man. I don't know. I don't even know what to tell you, man. I don't even know what to tell you. But he says, yeah, a kiss can reveal a lot about your man's personality and character. Ugh. For example, if his lips are soft, his touch will be gentle too. Ugh. It's likely that he takes care of himself and worries about what you think of him. Yeah, it's not my lips I'm worried about. It's her lips. It's her lips. What have her lips been doing? Don't tell me if my lips are soft. Of course my lips are soft and wonderful and luscious. But it's not my lips that are the problem. It's her lips. Her lips. On the other hand, cracked or chapped lips may mean he neglects himself to take care of others or doesn't worry about how you feel as much as you do. So having cracked lips means I don't care about my partner. Man, this young man has a lot to learn. He has a lot to learn, right? Nothing of this nature is ever going to affect anything in your relationship. Either way, kissing offers some insight into how your partner interacts with people and cares for others. I hope he knows what he's talking about, this young man, because he is about to find out. If his kisses are tender, tender, something may be wrong with how if his kisses aren't tender, something may be wrong with how he treats you on a daily basis. This young man is out of his mind. He thinks a tender kiss is an indication of a successful marriage. To be young. Young people, I have a question for you. Is it nice? Is it nice to be young? To just believe whatever you want. Oh, if I give her tender kisses, it's an indication of how I'm gonna treat her on a daily basis. Give me a break. That woman is gonna annoy you in no time. And the first thing she's gonna do is try and tell you a joke. Oh, you're gonna be so upset when you find out your girl is not funny. And she thinks she is hilarious. See, this is what happens when men want intimacy. They start laughing at all kinds of things. Now she's gonna believe that she's funny. No, 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 no. Laughing at your jokes is just a useful way to get intimacy. You know, we'd all be better off if you said nothing. You know, but yeah, good luck with those tender kisses, guys. Me, man. I have problems. Like, if there's one part of intimacy that I struggle with, it's the kissing, man. It's the kissing part, man. Like, I know that those lips and those tongues have no limit to where they'll go. So I'm not about to sit here and act like I don't know. I know, man. I know. So if the act of intimacy, for me, in my understanding, could happen without the kissing, I would be completely satisfied with that. But the kissing, that's a problem for me, man. That's a problem, and I don't care what anybody else says, man. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, and you think about it too. Your girl comes home, she kisses you on the lips, and you're just like, every time she kisses you, you're just like, man, I don't know. I don't know how long I can keep taking these kisses, man. I don't know how I can keep managing. Me, I can't take no one of those kisses, man. You smell that breath and you're like, I'm not kissing. I'm not kissing anyone. Pearly whites, your teeth, yes. Pearly white teeth. Yeah, guys, go see a dentist, man. You know, I need to go get these teeth fixed up. You know, I've had braces as a crooked teeth, gap tooth person. Didn't make a difference to me. They just made me uglier. So, you know, for you guys, you need to go really go see a dentist, go get your fillings, you know, go get your cleaning, get your restoration done, maintain your teeth. You're going to need those teeth. By the way, you're going to need to eat your whole life. Otherwise, get ready to eat nothing but soft foods. Of course, first and foremost, a man needs to have healthy teeth. I agree. The best way to ensure you're getting regular dental checkup, the best way to ensure you're getting regular dental checkups is by visiting a dentist that you trust. You can trust any dentist. They're all pretty much trained in the same way, right? Like a doctor you can trust, you can trust all the doctors. They all function under the same laws and they all went to the same schools and they all graduated in the same class. And they all failed, but they were pushed through anyway. Just trust me, they all failed and they were pushed through anyway. Most of the things that they know is trial and error. That's why they call a doctor's room a practice instead of a solution. Right? You don't say, I'm going to my doctor's solution. You go to the doctor's practice and he's going to try some stuff. Someone who will not only examine your teeth but also educate you on how to prevent problems in the future. Just watch a YouTube video on how to care for your teeth and they'll fill you up. You don't need to pay a dentist to know how to brush your teeth. Keep up with proper dental hygiene practices such as brushing and flossing every day. Yes, and yes, for me. It may seem tedious or unnecessary, but it makes a huge difference. You might even consider whitening strips or toothpaste that helps remove surface stains. Um, that can discolor your smile. Your surface stains that can discolor your smile. These two things can be especially helpful if you eat a lot of staining foods like coffee and red wine. I take my dental health, despite the nature of my teeth, I take my dental health quite seriously, so I floss every day and I use a tremendous toothbrush. So this is the irony of it all. So the teeth are crooked, they're chipped, there's a gap tooth and all, but they are sparkling white. So, there's a contrast there. So you get these sparkling white teeth and they're just all disfigured and ugly, but at least they're not dirty. So I do floss every day, and I don't really have cavities. So I have different dental problems, right? To what you may have, but I really don't have cavities, and I use a tremendous toothbrush. It's an electric toothbrush with 3 speeds and 3 cycles and all kinds of things, very fancy. And it's got like a light detection. So if you press too hard, the red light goes on and all kinds of things that let you know, right? I don't know if it's Bluetooth. I haven't tried connecting it to Bluetooth yet to my phone, but maybe I should. But the truth that I'm trying to say here, and the point that I'm trying to make is that, yeah, man, fix your teeth. You want to get the teeth done right. You really do. If you want to be attractive, I'm assuming that your plan is to be attractive. Good hygiene all round is going to help you. Dental hygiene, physical health, being clean, smelling decent, um, all that is really going to help. So what I'm getting at here, or really the idea that I'm getting from this young man's article, is that attractiveness to him is synonymous with cleanliness, which makes sense to me, right? Which makes reasonable sense to me. Oh, yes, the muscles. Of course, we have the muscles. So now we come to, muscular arms or at least some type of muscle definition in your body. Of course, you will get a lot of muscle definition if you do running, as I suggest. I do a lot of running. I used to love doing the weights, but all they did was leave me, you know, out of shape. I know people say, "Oh, I do weights, I trust the weights," but you know, it's like with every exercise, right? There's a point where you're gonna stop exercising. Even with the running, like I do it every day, but there are weeks in the past where out of 6 exercise day, I may get 5 or 4, right? So I don't work out all 7 days. I do have a rest day, but only to prevent injury. But I may have 2 rest days in a row, or I may have one rest day. I can do 1 or 2 days of a rest day, and then go ahead and do the other 4 days, in sequence, right? One after the other. But muscles, a good physical body is really what you want. And I suggest running because at least 30, well, I'd say 35 minutes, which is about 5 or 6 Ks. Running about 30 to 35 kilometers every day is going to burn a tremendous amount of calories. And when you burn fat, some of that muscle definition starts to come out. So, and also you are actually working the muscles, so they do get some exercise and you do get some some muscular definition. But most of that muscular definition will come because you don't have any fat covering it up, or at least not that much fat covering it up. So I would suggest focusing on weight loss. Focus on weight loss using running, not using weights or HIIT or CrossFit or any of the other things. Just start running, lose the weight, lose the weight, lose the weight, right? You lose weight, you'll always be in a better condition, right? In a better physical condition, at least in terms of attractiveness. There's nobody who ever said they found a fat person attractive, except men of a particular persuasion. You know who I'm talking about. Number six, muscular arms. Any woman will tell you she finds it physically attractive when a man has muscular arms. A woman likes to look at her man and know that if he gets in any kind of trouble, he will be able to come to a rescue. Ladies, you need to stop with this. Really, you need to stop with this. The notion that a man is going to come to your physical aid in terms of a violent altercation. This really needs to come to an end. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because you're going to go to jail. If you start defending people, like I know. It's a manly thing to do, and you want to stand up for your woman and you want to prove your physical prowess, blah blah blah. You're going to jail. You are going to jail. I've had that inclination. I know what you are meaning. Yes, we live in a world that isn't safe and there are real dangers, but let's be honest, when was the last time somebody jumped through your window and broke into your apartment? Let's be frank, most of the people that have done damage to your property, most of the people that have stolen from you, most of the people that have ruined your things are people that you invited into your homes. It's very rare that a criminal will come into your home to rob you. Most criminals will probably go to a store where they know they'll either find valuable goods or they'll find money. Your house has neither valuable goods nor money. So, just think about that. Think about, and I'll say this true for myself too. Most of the things that I've lost or had broken were broken by people that I knew personally. So, like example that I gave in the video where you're being sabotaged, like you have earphones where only one side works, or you have a hard drive that's not connecting to your computer, or Bluetooth speakers that are not connecting or something. Those things were not broken by criminals. Those things were probably broken by your counterpart or your children, or like a relative or a family member that you thought you could trust, right? So the idea that you need to be strong and have muscles in order to fight off criminals or a band of ninjas or an army of men is absurd. It's absolutely out of the question, right? And I never understood that. Like women say, oh, I want a man who's going to feel safe, blah, blah, blah. It's going to make me feel safe and be strong. Your man is going to go to jail. Your man is going to beat someone up and get himself arrested. I was one of those. I even spent time in a dojo trying to get a black belt. Well, there's many reasons why I went to a dojo. One of my heroes was Bruce Lee, and as a child, I wanted to be like Bruce Lee. So I've spent many years in the dojo, right? My mom asked me, what do you want to be with your life? I said, I wanted to be like Bruce Lee, right? And so I've spent years in the dojo, right? But one of the things that happens is when you spend years training martial arts and that kind of thing. Now, this is not to imply that I'm actually any good at it or that I can fight or anything like that. Not at all. Not at all. I just enjoy the sport, right? And I did it as a child and I enjoyed it, and I did it as an adult and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the physical activities, the training, the challenge of it, being tested, watching yourself improve. I enjoyed the whole process. I enjoyed socializing, and I enjoyed most of the company of the people that I met and will never ever see again, right? But there's a reality there where you realize you're never gonna use this stuff in real life, man. And if you did, you'd go to jail for violence, right? Violence is illegal and it's completely out of the question. If you are trying to use violence as an as an attraction tactic, I'm telling you, you are making a terrible, terrible mistake. You are going to go to jail. I went through a list of all the violent crimes. There are like 50 types of violent crimes, including threatening people with your words. So the idea that you're going to protect someone using violence, I need you to just get rid of that. Just get rid of that. Like, you're not beating anyone up. I would recommend violence in terms of self-defense, but even then, not really, right? So it would have to be a situation where the other person had a weapon, a knife or a gun or something, and that threat was clear. But if somebody is going to hit you with their hands, the best you can do, I suggest, is just to subdue them and make them stop. Right? Just subdue them and make them stop if you can. Otherwise, leave. Right? Subdue them, make them stop, and then create an exit plan and be out. But don't hit people, man. And I'm not now. Okay, let's be real now. I'm a person who's been doing sports their whole life, right? Or in and out of the weights, in and out of the dojos. I have no problem with physical violence. I have no problem with physical violence at all. One of my favorite things to do is to watch boxing, not because of the skill or anything, but because I want to see two people standing in the middle of the ring beating each other while nobody stops them. Because everywhere else there's a fight, somebody's trying to stop that fight. I really have no problem with violence at all. At all. Or blood. Or blood. I have no problem with blood at all. Other than the consequences. You're going to get arrested. As an adult, you hit someone, you're going to jail. So forget this whole rescue situation. This is a game for young men. Mature men don't deal with this. Mature men don't deal with this. You'll just go to jail. She knows deep down inside that his muscular arms are also an indication of how strong he is as a person. Nope. She feels safe with him. Nope. And secure that everything will work out if they stick together regardless of what happens in life. Yeah. You see, these are benders, man. This whole list is written from a perspective of a bender. Right? So some things will make sense and they'll be right, and then he'll go on this type of like mystical tangent where he's just making it up. No? Looking at my arms is gonna make her feel like we're gonna stick together regardless of what happens in life. She's going to leave you for a richer man with smaller arms. And only because he's got more money than you. You're not going to make it through everything together. Like, seriously, man. Come on, come on. She looks at your arms, she sees strength. Give me a break. Like, she's going to be safe with him forever. This is the kind of thing. I mean, what happens if somebody has a firearm? And here you are with those big arms. Give me a break, man. And there are benders that actually believe in this stuff. I'm going to get big arms and be attractive. My girl is going to be loyal because of my big arms. Check her phone. Check her phone before you believe in these big arms, right? And yeah, you guys aren't going to be together through thick and thin. There will be no riding and dying for you, my friend. When she looks at his muscular arms, she sees strength and something for which she can rely when times get hard. What? So she's going to look at my left arm, of which is dangling on the side of my arm, and then look at my right arm, my body, I beg your pardon. Look at my right arm, which is also dangling on the side of my body. And then she's going to come to the epiphany, right? It says here that you are now a thing that she can rely on in tough times because you have two arms. Really? I don't know so much about this young man. I don't know so much about this. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no on that point. Um, let's continue through the tough times. And even though he might not have biceps like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Popeye the Sailor, his small yet powerful muscles speak volumes about his character. This man is insane. This man is insane. This is benderism. This is full-blown benderism, right? This is what they believe. This is what they believe. This type of philosophy, you know. Oh, even though I'm not as big, my arms are not as big as Popeye's, she will see my character through my arms. Man, grow up. Grow up. Seriously, seriously. Guys, we need to take ourselves more seriously than this young man, right? Nice eyes. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. She's gonna look into my eyes, and then she's gonna see her future and the destiny and all of our future children. Oh boy. Oh boy. You know, from the first paragraph, I should have known that this was a bender's list. So, you know, freeze your sperm, get a vasectomy, man. Forget all this nice eye stuff. But it is funny. It is funny, you know. If you're wondering, you know, Ancient One, why are you always so against these benders? Every day it's you and the benders. This is what they do. They benderize, man. They benderize. Talking about how my arms, my big, strong arms, mean that we're going to be together forever and we're going to survive through everything. Regardless, listen to this. He says, regardless of what happens in life, you could lose your job, she'll still be with you. You could lose your health, she'll still with you. So what happens if you lose your arms? What happens if you stop pumping iron? Is she still going to be with you? Is she still going to see the future? Man, you need benders. You need benders. Need to be called to order. You know, and I'm not going to stop reading these articles from these knee benders. If you think I'm going to stop reading knee bender articles, you're absolutely out of your mind, right? We're going to be benderizing all the way through so that we can cut through this nonsense. Huh? Listen to this, listen to this. His small yet powerful muscles speak volumes about his character. Oh my God. Where is your father, young man? Where is your father? Nice eyes. Man, you know, I just know this nice eyes part is just gonna come out of nowhere. I'm bracing myself. I know some of you are read it already, but I'm bracing myself to see what comes out of this. Let's do it. Nice eyes are a perfect example of how we can be attracted to a person for reasons other than their physical appearance. Women love men with nice eyes because they can show us how they feel without saying a word. He's saying that the eyes are a window to the soul. Man, these people. Enough, man. Enough with you knee benders. I'm trying to keep a straight face. I'm sorry. I'm going to be professional. I'm trying to keep a straight face here with these knee benders, man. You know, this is the stuff of romance novels, man. This is the stuff of Hollywood stuff. And tomorrow we're going to look at what makes a counterpart attractive. Now, I might agree with tomorrow's list of what makes a counterpart attractive. Oh, but this one from the knee benders. Oh, you guys, man, you guys go too far with your benderisms. Huh? Listen to this, listen to this. Women love men with nice eyes because they can show us how they feel without saying a word. Let's move on. For many, it's nice to be able to tell when your man is happy or upset, even if he isn't saying it. You know, He's young. He's young. He's young. I really thought I could, I thought I was gonna be able to do this platform without showing too much of my personality, just show a serious stoic side. But here I am just laughing at these benders. They benderize like this all the time. They benderize like this all the time. They believe that you can see through their soul. They believe they have a soul. Nice guys give us an opportunity. Nice eyes, I beg your pardon, give us an opportunity and are one of those things women find physically attractive in men. Oh, I beg your pardon. Let me read that again. Nice eyes give us that opportunity. Oh, man, you know what? I regret reading it again. I'm not going to read that again. Madness. Madness, man. You know, but these things are important to benders. They want to know that the shape of their face, the color of their hair, their teeth and their lips, and their big eyes, big arms and big eyes, that these things matter to their counterpart over and above the fact that you're paying all her bills. And I'm here to tell you that those things are inconsequential compared to the debt that she has. Right? So, yeah, I mean, if you feel that way, if you feel like being attractive in this way is going to help you, you can go ahead, start hitting the gym, get fit, get healthy. I'm one of those who's obsessed with hitting the gym, staying thin, losing weight. So I'm not going to now chastise you for doing the same thing. But there's a point there, man, where you just gotta come to reality and realize that the shape of your head and how big your eyes are and your smile, while it may play some part, it plays a very inconsequential part overall, you know. But for some people, it matters. I mean, for everybody, it matters. There's a part of everybody that just wants us to know that we are not ugly, right? I mean, for you, this might be true, but for me, not so much, right? So everybody wants to know that they're not ugly. Is it my arms? Is it my eyes? What is it about me that makes me attractive, right? And you may have some of these characteristics, and I'll agree that some of them might help in being attractive. Um, I'm just gonna say, freeze your sperm and get a vasectomy. I'm gonna say freeze your sperm and get a vasectomy because even if let's say you do attract a counterpart, the issue then is gonna be that now you're stuck with a counterpart. She's gonna get pregnant, she's gonna have kids, all kinds of things. You don't want that. You want that. Ask yourself, do you want to be somebody's father? If the answer is no, go ahead, freeze your sperm, get a vasectomy. If your answer is yes, go ahead, go down to the child support court, and I suggest putting yourself on child support as soon as possible. The earlier you put yourself on child support, the better it'll likely be. You get an opportunity to get familiar with the system that's going to be ruining your life for 18 years. And also, you might get a lower settlement initially, but of course, we will revisit that settlement over and over as you continue to make more money in the next 18 to 21 years. But if you don't want to go freeze your sperm, get a vasectomy, if you think you're handsome and whatnot, go ahead. Go ahead and try be attractive and try and get yourself a counterpart. And if you dare say that child support is not fair, if you get somebody pregnant and you have the audacity to say that child support is not fair, you're gonna find that I will not be one to agree with you. I think you're not paying enough child support. You know, I think they should give you child support for having the child and for also making the wrong decision. You should be on child support just to punish you from your incompetence, right? Really, really, truly, and I think that you would deserve it, handsome or not, handsome or not. So I know that you need benders really, really, really want to be found attractive. You want to be known that you are good looking, and also you want to be intimate with these counterparts, and then not want to live up with the consequences. All right. So you know what the consequences are? I'm going to keep highlighting them every day. You're going to get a woman pregnant. You are going to get her pregnant. You are going to get her pregnant. Listen to me. She's going to get pregnant. Absolutely going to get pregnant. Now that you know that she's going to get pregnant, you dare say that child support is not fair? If you say that child support is not fair, you're the problem. You're the problem. I don't care how handsome you are, what the situation is. Child support is absolutely fair. It's fair because you did it to yourself. You have the option. You have the option of freezing your sperm and getting a vasectomy. Freeze your sperm, get a vasectomy, or pay that child support. But what you cannot do is you cannot complain. There was a time when men could complain because they didn't have a solution. Well, now you have the solution, you can't complain. No more complaints. We will tolerate no more complaints about child support. Right? Child support is deserved because you did it to yourself. And you did it to yourself because you have the option of not having kids. But this is the end of the video. And again, I want to thank you for your time, your attention, and your patience. Please, if you've enjoyed this video, please like the content. Also, please share it with somebody who thinks they're handsome and they think that being handsome is going to save them in this life, when all it's going to do is put them in the dark dimension, make them miserable, and put them on alimony and child support for 18 to 21 years, of which they probably deserve. So go ahead and share it with those knee benders so that they know the truth of the consequences of their actions. And also, please leave a comment to remain part of the conversation, and I will, as always, respond as quickly and as promptly as I can. I am the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme, and I'd like to again thank you for watching this video. I'd like to remind you of the philosophy of this channel, which is to freeze your sperm, get a vasectomy. Freeze your sperm, get a vasectomy, protect yourself, protect your seed, protect your solitude. And I would like to wish you a very nice, handsome, healthy, full of hair, full of muscles, and beautiful eyes. And I hope all of that happens to you today and in this lifetime. May you be very, very, very handsome. And may you also get a vasectomy. Hey, thank you, and have a nice day.